Think of the toughest country in the world, and you probably don't think of France. But France has a bloody history. Revolution, Nazi occupation, and brutal urban rioting that continues to this day. Out of this violence and anarchy has sprung a vicious martial art, savate.
We've come to France to explore the history and origins of this brutal fighting style. We'll train with street fighters, anti-terror squads, and legendary masters. Then, one of us is going to step into the ring with a savate champion.
There are hundreds of distinct fighting styles in the world. They are practiced in every nation and by every people. Now, Jason Chambers, a mixed martial artist and professional fighter, and Bill Duff, a former pro football player and wrestler, are embarked on a mission to explore the history and techniques of these incredible martial arts. And at the end of each journey, one of these two warriors will face the ultimate test. They'll try to survive a real fight with a true human weapon.
Back streets of Paris to learn vicious street fighting moves from one very tough cop.
Paris. Famous throughout the world as the City of Love, it's home to such landmarks as the Arc de Triomphe and the Eiffel Tower. But Paris is also the city where just 2 years ago, 3,000 rioters were arrested after setting hundreds of cars on fire and destroying $200 million worth of property. But this was just the most recent page in France's history of urban violence. And it's this history of street fighting that gave birth to savate. So to learn our next move, we'd come to the streets of Paris, to Parc Monceau, in the north of the city.
There we met QUEQUET, a former police officer and founder of the modern-day technique, Défense dans la rue, which means street fighting and self-defense.
So what are you guys doing here? You look like you're getting mugged.
We're training self-defense. All the French martial arts.
Self-defense?
Yes, it's an old way to practice because in the first time it was a self-defense, not boxe française.
By the early 1800s, the Industrial Revolution had launched a massive urban migration in France. Tens of thousands of men and women from across the country poured into Paris in search of jobs. But squalid living conditions and cramped tenements bred a new kind of trouble: violent street gangs.
To help people defend themselves against these criminals, a man named Michel Cassot opened the first savate training school in 1825. Cassot taught a hybrid version of chasson from Marseille and street fighting from Paris.
He called it the art of savate, after the beat-up boots the Parisian thugs wore. Today, many call Cassot the father of savate. One of the most fundamental techniques he taught was a move still in use today, chassé bas.
For example, come.
Oh, okay. So it kind of stops him from coming in.
Yes. Raise the knee, and with hips you do like that.
Kind of like has like a piston action to it.
Yeah, definitely. To execute the chassé bas, the fighter raises his leg and then pistons his foot into the lower leg of his opponent, hitting him with the hardest part of his boot, the heel. Now, are you aiming with the knee?
Yes, up, okay, up, pull back.
In this move, the forward propulsion of the hips, combined with the piston motion of the lower leg, can send well over 700 pounds of force directly through the rigid bone of the heel.
This impact won't just knock an opponent down. The force is enough to permanently damage his kneecap.
Comes.
Oh, okay. So it kind of stops him from coming in. This is good too, Bill, because it keeps him out of striking range, so we can kind of use this in the ring too.
Yeah, maybe to get a guy off your face if he's punching you a whole bunch. So he comes at you, you just push off, you're clear.
So it just keeps them at a distance so that they can't punch you and you don't have to deal with it as close, right?
Yes.
Let's practice it a few times, huh?
It's unique to savate, and as rumor has it, a favorite of Bruce Lee's when he encountered savate in the 1970s.
1, 2.
Pull it back as soon as you kick.
Yes. Okay. Very
How's that going? Good?
On the hip.
Yes. Let's. No.
If you use this kick on the hip, you'll take the center of balance away, put your opponent on. Okay.
Against you, it's better to do it on the knee because you are.
If he's a bigger guy, you want to aim more at a joint
Yes.
because
It's more effective.
Yes.
It's all about effectiveness when someone's coming at you to beat your ass. Learning this kick is great for me. Using this piston action, I think with my power, I'll be able to shove this guy almost out of the ring. And then once I get him off balance, I can just land a couple rights, and that's it.
But Eric wasn't done with us just yet. To test out our new street fighting skills, he put us in full protective gear and let us duke it out.
I feel like a horse wearing blinders with all this stuff on.
Go.
That's me on the right. A few cautious blows and then he goes for the kick to my head. Big mistake. Now I've got him where I want him. I'm relying on my MMA reflexes here more than Savat, but it feels good. This is taking Savat to a whole different level. This isn't the refined Savat. This is Savat a la give me your money, fight or flight Savat. Bill, you're up.
Go.
I could feel him watching me looking for that kick. When I look for that kick, he'd hit me with a little annoying jab, a little leg kick. It's really technical for me because I'm used to just dropping a bomb on somebody.
Tourne. Stop.
Okay.
Now that we had the chasse kick down,
Who better to give us that killer instinct than the men of France's elite anti-terrorist force, RAID?
since World War I, Savat has been an integral component of French military and police training. It's a tradition that's proudly carried on today by France's elite special forces team, RAID. RAID stands for Research, Assistance, Intervention, and Dissuasion. Just the guys to pound us into shape for our upcoming fight.
RAID headquarters is nestled deep in the woods at a former 19th century monastery. Because of their elite status, we were brought to it in total secrecy.
I feel like we're about to get a mission we can't refuse.
Our leader was Robert PATUREL, a former 6-time Savat champion, police officer, an all-around tough guy.
So, what is this place? Where are we right now?
Où sommes-nous en fait? À quoi ça cet endroit?
Donc ici, c'est un groupe d'intervention qui s'appelle le RAID.
The place of the Red is a special force group, police.
So are they basically the SWAT team of France?
Like the same, yeah.
How difficult would you say it is to get into this organization?
There are selections that are physically a bit hard, yeah. It's an elite group.
Since its founding in 1985, RAID has been called upon to control riots, storm buildings to rescue hostages, and infiltrate and destroy Islamic terrorist cells. RAID is unique among police special forces units because it recruits not just from the police, but from all walks of life, including Savat fighters. Today, RAID is made up of assault teams numbering 70 people, 25% of whom are former fighters, including some European and world champions.
In hand-to-hand combat situations, the elite officers of RAID rely on their Savat training to help them survive. But unlike the ring sport, here, it's anything goes.
They've taken all the blows that was forbidden, strikes forbidden like low blows or strike to the throat, so they can strike with everything, with the shoulder, with the head, with even with the chest.
Now, what's some of the moves that we can learn here that would help us in a SWAT fight?
Alors aujourd'hui, ils vont apprendre une technique qui s'appelle, je vais la démontrer tout à l'heure, là, qui s'appelle le balayage.
Here you're gonna learn about the sweeping with the leg. You can go to a guy and sweep him and take him to the ground.
Sounds good. Good one.
It takes your balance, huh?
Yeah, really. Is that fun for you?
Oui, oui.
Yeah, it's okay. Can he do it and slow it down as he's doing it to me, so we can see the technique?
Au ralenti pour qu'on puisse voir la technique.
The key to setting up the sweep is the aggressive punches. These get your opponent moving backwards.
And with, like
right here.
As he does, you step behind him, hooking the top of your foot against the back of his ankle.
That was good.
I just like watching Bill fall.
Yeah.
That's my gauge of a technique. If he can do it to him, it works. I'll train it, I'll use it.
This move uses the same principle as a throw in judo, off-balancing your opponent and then using his momentum to send him down. But it's much more aggressive. The sweep here is actually a strike to one of the most sensitive areas of the body, the Achilles tendon.
Really good. No, not doing it right. I'm not getting this. Ah, God, I suck.
Il a pas passé la hanche.
But you have to make your hips. Yeah, no, I got it. Move your hips that way.
Push, push, push. Push here? Oh, I got it. Get him off balance first, Jason. Well, just like everything I learned in martial arts, this is a lot harder than it looks.
But if you can get this down, your leg to the size of a tree trunk, you're gonna be able to take out anybody.
Absolutely. Let's try it a little bit more.
All right.
Off balance. Kick.
Even though in Savate, you don't score any points for knocking your opponent down, there is a reason for using this move in a match.
It's useful to send your opponent on the floor because it's tiring him, you know? Every time getting up is making him more and more tired.
Did you get more tired getting up?
I did.
Then it's working.
Now that we had the basics of the move down, it was time to try it out in the ring.
All right, now come back.
For that, Officer PATUREL matched us up against a couple of his top guys.
Then come back. George, if you stay in front of him, he's gonna kick you.
Well, you can lose your balance on that.
Then it was my turn.
If you want to attack, if you're close to him, he cannot strike you, but you can. But if you stay at his distance, he's gonna strike you.
I stepped into the ring expecting some Savate sparring, but this guy surprised me and turned it into a street fight.
He's going a little harder than my guy.
First, he caught me with a knee to the face. Then a low blow, an illegal kick to the groin.
Good.
But the worst was a strike to my knee. That was going to hurt for a while.
It's a lot harder when you're actually moving with a guy that has good balance, unfortunately.
Next, PATUREL took us outside and showed us a jab, kick, cross combo that could put an opponent down for the count. It's called the direct fouette direct.
Jab, jab, kick, cross.
Cocking his arms like a pistol, a fighter drives the hardest bones in the hand, the knuckles, straight into his opponent's face. The fighter then drives the tip of his toe into his opponent's midsection.
With the opponent still reeling, the coup de grace is a powerful cross to the weakest point on the skull, the temple, delivering up to 2,000 pounds of force.
Jab, jab, kick, cross.
Leading with the near arm, the first jab travels the shortest distance to the opponent. So what it lacks in force, it makes up for in speed. The second punch, utilizing both the twist of the shoulders and the forward momentum of the kick, can carry over 4 times as much impact. And just a few hundred pounds of force to the temple is enough to cause a knockout.
So we're gonna just block that jab and pull it to you and throw out your own jab. And it's kind of weird here because you want to throw a roundhouse, but in Savate, remember, you're using hard shoes. So that little kick in the front to the solar plexus really does some damage. Hit the kick, drop the right. Fight's over.
Okay.
Our fight with Issa Sissoko was fast approaching, but we had one more stop.